"Mama, where's my pa? Gone to the White House, ha ha ha," has become the common saying around the country. Maria C. Halpin, mother of Oscar Folsom Cleveland, claims that little Oscar is the son of Grover Cleveland. When confronted with the scandal, Cleveland immediately instructed his supporters to, above all, tell the absolute truth. Cleveland admitted to paying child support in 1874 to Maria. Halpin had been involved with several men at the time, including Cleveland's friend and law partner, Oscar Folsom, for whom the child was named. Cleveland did not know which man was the father. He assumed responsibility because he was the only bachelor among them.
Secretary of the Interior Albert Bacon Fall had leased Navy petroleum reserves at Teapot Dome in Wyoming and 2 other locations in California to private oil companies at low rates without competitive bidding. In 1922 and 1923, the leases became the subject of a sensational investigation by Senator Thomas J. Walsh. Fall was later convicted of accepting bribes from the oil companies and became the first cabinet member to go to prison. Before the Watergate scandal, Teapot Dome was regarded as the greatest and most sensational scandal in the history of American politics.
The alleged affair between Marilyn Monroe and John F. Kennedy swept the nation and was soon talked about by many. It started when Monroe had been invited to a dinner party honoring the president.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
Marilyn had actually met John F. Kennedy twice before when their flirtatiousness was noticed by onlookers, but she did not have a chance to speak to him in depth.
And to Miss Monroe, who left a picture to come all the way east, and I can now retire from politics after having had happy birthday sung to me in such a sweet.
The next day, JFK called Monroe and informed her that he was headed to Palm Springs without his wife Jackie. He then proceeded to invite Monroe to join him. Later, Florida Senator George Smathers confirmed that he knew about the affair between Monroe and JFK the weekend they were at Bing Crosby's home in Palm Springs. He also confirmed that Jackie Kennedy knew about the affair, quoting George Smathers. Jackie knew about the trip. In fact, we were dancing at a White House ball, and she said to me, "Don't think I'm naive about what you and Jack are doing with all those pretty girls like Marilyn, sailing on the Potomac under the moonlight."
Watergate was a political scandal that occurred in the 1970s as a result of the June 1972 break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate office complex in Washington, D.C., and the Nixon administration's attempted cover-up of its involvement.
And I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes, but in all of my years of public life, I have never profited from public service. I've earned every cent. And in all of my years of public life, I have never obstructed justice. And I think, too, that I can say that in my years of public life, that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
President?
Yes, sir.
The scandal eventually led to the resignation of Richard Nixon on August 9, 1974, the only resignation of a U.S. president.
I have never been a quitter. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first. America needs a full-time president and a full-time Congress, particularly at this time with problems we face at home and abroad, to continue to fight through the months ahead for my personal vindication would almost totally absorb the time and attention of both the President and the Congress in a period when our entire focus should be on the great issues of peace abroad and prosperity without inflation at home. Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
The scandal also resulted in the indictment, trial, conviction, and incarceration of 43 people, including dozens of Nixon's top administration officials.
The Watergate scandal is easily now regarded as the biggest presidential scandal in U.S. history.
Senior administration officials secretly facilitated the sale of arms to Iran, which was subject to an arms embargo. They hoped that the arms sales would secure the release of several U.S. hostages. The money would fund the Contras in Nicaragua. Under the Boland Amendment, further funding of the Contras by the government had been prohibited by Congress. The scandal began as an operation to free the 7 American hostages being held in Lebanon by a group of Iranian ties connected to the Army of the Guardians of the Islamic Revolution. Once this trade had come to the public, there was major outrage. Reagan appeared on national television stating that the weapon trade had happened, but that the U.S. was not trading for hostages. In 1987, Reagan appeared on national television, taking full responsibility for any actions that he was unaware of, and admitting that what began as a strategic opening to Iran deteriorated in its implementation into trading arms for hostages.
Tonight, I want to share with you my thoughts on these findings and report to you on the actions I'm taking to implement the board's recommendations. First, let me say I take full responsibility for my own actions and for those of my administration. As angry as I may be about activities undertaken without my knowledge, I am still accountable for those activities. As disappointed as I may be in some who served me, I am still the one who must answer to the American people for this behavior. And as personally distasteful as I find secret bank accounts and diverted funds, one of the Navy would say, this happened on my watch. Let's start with the part that is the most controversial. A few months ago, I told the American people I did not trade arms for hostages. My heart and my best intentions still tell me that's true, but the facts and the evidence tell me it is not. As the Tower Board reported, what began as a strategic opening to Iran deteriorated in its implementation into trading arms for hostages.
The Lewinsky scandal began with Paula Jones's accusation that Clinton had sexually harassed her while he was governor of Arkansas. Monica Lewinsky had been expected to assist Paula Jones to have a successful filing against Clinton, but instead was bribed into fighting for him. Both Lewinsky and Clinton denied any affairs together, and Clinton denied any affairs with any other women, although many had come forward saying that Clinton had sexually harassed them too.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
Lewinsky had confided in her friend Linda Tripp with stories of her and Clinton's relationship. Eventually, Tripp began to record the conversations she and Lewinsky shared together concerning Clinton. When Tripp discovered in January 1998 that Lewinsky had sworn an affidavit in the Paula Jones case denying a relationship with Clinton, she delivered the tapes to Kenneth Starr, the independent counsel who was investigating Clinton on other matters, including the Whitewater scandal, the White House FBI files controversy, and the White House Travel Office controversy. Starr then proceeded to see through that Lewinsky was charged for perjury for lying in court. This scandal also led to the impeachment of President Bill Clinton, the only president to be impeached aside from Andrew Johnson.
What's a weird thing to say?
Mama, where's my pa? Gone to the White House, ha ha ha, in monotone. Mama.
They are digging a grave. They're digging a grave. Oh, there's dirt.
Oh my god.
Russians inside Nicaragua. Freedom was a mantra, so we gave them lots of money for guns and landmines.